This podcast is brought to you by ShortsTV and is not affiliated with the Oscars or the Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences in any way.
Hello and welcome. You're listening to the award season ShortsTV podcast. I'm Carter Pilcher, and I'm joined as always by the angelic Rasha Goel.
Ooh, I like that. Angelic. Thanks, Carter. Hi, everyone. Always a pleasure to be here. We promised you all Oscar-nominated filmmakers, and here we are again, and this time in the live action category. We are talking to Tamir Shushan, who is joining us from Tel Aviv and is the director of Wide Eye.
And if you haven't seen the film yet, Wide Eye tells the story of a man who finds his stolen bicycle, which doesn't sound remarkable, but now it belongs to a stranger. While he's attempting to retrieve it, he really struggles to remain human.
It's really a compelling short with such a unique production, and really it makes you think about life and just even who you are. Tamir, thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Now, I understand that this short film is based on a true story, something that you actually experienced. Tell us about that.
That's true. So about 2.5 years ago, it was that day, like a deadline that I needed to send the script to the Film Foundation in Israel, and I was working on some other script. And on that day, I was on the way to meet my mentor to finalize the script and to send it over. And we were working on it like for 3 months. And on the way to meet her, this story actually happened to me. In real life, it ended up a bit better, much better.
Glad to hear that.
Yeah. When I was late, I gave her the excuse that, listen, you don't understand what happened to me right now. And she told me, it's amazing. Write it now. You have like few hours to send script. And I'm like, but what about what we're working on? She said, it's like much better. Go for it. And I just sat there and I wrote it in like 40 minutes, I remember. And we sent it after 1 hour. And and then we got like the funds to make the film. And it was incredible.
But Tamir, particularly with this story, with White Eye, you were very clear from the beginning that it was to be done in one shot, one take, one breath. Why was that important for you, and why did you think that that technique would work for this story?
A few reasons. Actually, because I wrote it so fast and I sent the script to the Film Foundation, when they called me, tell me that I got it and to sign the papers, he asked me, listen, it's amazing, we all love it, but like, why you didn't make scenes? Why it's like one? And when I went out, I thought to myself, of course there is a reason, because it's one scene. It's like one breath of a moment. And I felt that if I will connect the audience to the main character, I can only do it in one shot, because the main character don't have any moment to stop, to cut, to understand if his actions are right or wrong. He's just doing something very impulsive that come from his instincts that were wrong back then. So I felt that if the audience will have the same feeling, so maybe I can pass this story and pass the reason of his action more clearly.
Well, it certainly did that. It's a very mesmerizing take. As you constructed it, and I'm sure you had to think it through quite heavily, how did you prepare, and how much rehearsal did you need?
So I was working most of the time on finding the right rhythm and finding the right timing of when everything happened, to build something very organic, almost documentary moment.
But to direct that, it's more like directing an event almost, or a Broadway play or something, where every person has to enter and leave at exactly the right time, which is totally unusual and unmovie-like.
We had maybe 5 or 6 people that their job was to do the cues. It was on the second, we knew every second what's supposed to happen.
So did you, and is that kind of like storyboarding each
Yeah.
scene?
And we shot every scene, not with actors or everything, just with friends and the cameraman. We just shot every scene separately, and then we went to edit it and to see what is the right timing for everything. Then we could see all of it, even if it's with cuts, just by story, to see the rhythm and how everything's supposed to happen to create a story that is very fluent and that give you the right feeling.
Such a creative process. Okay, so how many takes did you do in order to get the one? Were there a lot of rehearsals or did you just go for it?
I just said that it was everything was very planned, but in shooting everything went really wrong.
Oh,
Um,
no.
Now that
we,
would sound normal.
yeah, I mean, we had money to make it only in one night.
Wow.
At the beginning, I had lots of pressure on me because I said, okay, it's my chance after film school to get money. It's not happening to everyone so easily and so fast, so I need to like to do my best and not to take risks. But I felt that that's what I want to do, and I'm going to do it. And if it's going to be fail, so I'll live with it.
But how many hours? Like, was it multiple hours or takes or?
So we started at 4. I remember we started at 4 afternoon when the sun went down, and the sun rise was in 5 a.m. the day after. Okay, so between 4 p.m. to 12 a.m. we didn't had nothing. Nothing worked, and I could see that lots of people from the crew and a bit like from the actors that people started to feel the pressure and the stress that maybe we won't have it. I just felt it in the air. And I thought that if this feeling will stay there, we won't have anything. So I just did a huge break. We all went to eat and we came back at 1, and I just started like to be another character. I just became super confident. You know, when you cheer someone because of something, you become strong, even if you feel bad. So to see everyone like that, I knew that if I would cheer them up, it will rise me and will make me give me more confidence. And that's what I did. And I started to see how everyone started to believe again. And on the first try after the break, we had a full shot, like we have the full film, and that gave us like huge boost of energy. And at the end of the night we had 8 takes, 8 full takes,
Wow.
That's
Fantastic.
impressive.
and we chose the sixth one. The last one started in the night, and on the end it was already like light. Yeah, but I didn't
So
want.
that wouldn't have worked.
No, no, I knew it while we saw the sun that it's not gonna work, but we completed anyway.
Let's talk about the theme. You know, there was a certain reason why you chose the title White Eye. So if you could
Yeah.
tell our audience a little bit about that and really just shedding a light on this issue that perhaps many people may not even know about that exists in that part of the world.
Yeah, so the film had the script had other name, and when I looked for an actor to do the Eritrean refugee, I met Dawit. He had like one white eye, and I always had it in my mind. But on the rehearsal, I thought to myself that this film is actually happening from a white person eyes, and also white eye suddenly looked to me and symbolized me blindness. That's what the main character was. He was blind and couldn't see the person in front of him.
And it's a very and it is very it adds a nice layer to the story. Tomer, what is it that motivated you to tell this particular story?
First of all, I had an urge to tell this story because I felt all my life that I used to upset and get angry to hear anything that is like racist, to hear someone become violent to a person only because of his race, and you see it a lot around you. And what really was hurtful for me, to know that I was like that for a moment, to know that my instinct I became to one of these people that I hate, to know that something like that is inside of me, and I'm so afraid of it. So I felt that this is my way to show that maybe there is something like that in everyone, but we need to kill it. We need to fight it, and we need to kill it.
Do you feel it killed it inside you while you did this film? Did that help kill what you wanted to or heal what you wanted to within you?
Absolutely. I think that the story that happened to me in real life, and also continue working on it and to dig inside this subject inside of me during the process of the film, was a huge effect on me as a storyteller, but mostly on a personal level. I feel that I really, really changed, and I feel that this is my way to try to present this film, and maybe I can do it to other people.
Yeah. Oh, that's beautiful. Of course, we'd love to know your reaction to hearing about your nomination, but you've got to share. I understand that when you were shortlisted, an incident happened and you got a ticket from the police. So I'll let you share that story.
Okay, so what happened since the shortlist till now? I have so many crazy stories to tell. One of them is when we got shortlisted, I was sure that we're not gonna make it because 10 from 174 films, lots of good films. So when I saw it, when I realized that we are shortlisted, it was 2 a.m. in Israel, and I couldn't stop shouting and like couldn't stop shouting. I didn't know, something inside of me. I couldn't control it. I just shout and shout, and the producer Kobe was with me here, and he also shouted, and we started like for 20 minutes non-stop. It was a bit weird, yeah. And suddenly we got these like crazy knocks on the door, and like, oh my god, it's 2 a.m. What we are doing? And then we ran to the door, and two police officers were there, and they told me, "What are you doing? What, like, why, like someone is dying there? Like, what happened?" And I just told him, "Listen, you don't understand." And I started to tell him the story, and he's like, "Wow, congratulations, but here's your ticket." Yeah.
That's fantastic.
And on the day that we became the nominee, I took a cab, and I was driving on the taxi. The driver asked me like lots of things. We started to have a conversation, and after like, I don't know, 10 minutes, he asked me what I'm doing. So I told him I'm a director, and he's like, "Wow, did you hear about the director in Israel that just got nominee?" I'm like, yeah, it's me. He didn't believe me. He didn't believe me. He said to myself, oh no, no, you lied to me. You lied, and I needed to convince him. It was so funny.
That
How
is
fun.
fantastic. Well, I'm sure they're expecting some old gray-haired guy to be the guy.
Carter, you know what's so neat about Tomer's story is that every aspect of this is so unconventional. And you were able to create this beautiful piece just through these different processes and techniques. And I guess even just, I think it's fair to say, through a connection of humanity, something that not only do we see in the film, but even for you personally. So I just find that very beautiful.
Thank you. I also feel like that, um, and I can wish to myself that on my next projects it will go like this. I will find the right people to work with, and also develop myself as a human, because I think it can't be separate from creation.
Absolutely.
If you were to step back a little bit from your film and just talk about what's happening in the Middle East, it's an important moment. Out of five live action nominees, two of them are from the Middle East. One is called The Present, and yours, Wide Eye. What's happening in filmmaking out there that gets two of you nominated for Oscars?
First of all, I think that Israel, it's one of the most interesting places because it's, I mean, culture-wise and historical-wise, religious-wise, it's holy place to lots of people, and it's such a small place that making lots of noise. It's really tiny place, and there are people here from everywhere. It's like a microcosmos of the world, and I feel that in this place there is something unique that got to bring stories, interesting stories to the world. If now we are part of something that will expose more this area and bring more money to the culture and to films here. Maybe we can bring more stories that interesting the world. I mean, there is a huge fight every year to get funds for the feature films, and I guess that if these films will make more investment or more production company to invest their money here for films, maybe we'll see more and more films out there.
Okay, Tamer, you've got an Oscar nomination. That's pretty amazing. What's next?
Yeah, I'm working. Developing White Eye to a feature. It's not going to be the same, but it's going to be with the same characters. And also another story that happened in my family a few years ago that I always had the desire to start write it, and now I think it's the time. And yeah, that's the two projects that I'm developing at the moment.
The feature won't be one shot though, right?
No, I actually would think again 700 times before I'll do it again. It's
Thank you, Tamer.
Thank you so much, Tamer. Such a pleasure to meet you.
Thank you very much.
Carter, what a fascinating interview from such an incredibly talented young filmmaker.
I really couldn't agree more. One person I know who's looking forward to seeing White Eye in the cinema is Marian Luntz. She's the curator of film and video at the Museum of Fine Arts in Houston and one of our most dedicated exhibitors.
Yes, and you got to catch up with her ahead of the theatrical release, so let's have a listen.
Golly, Marian, how many years have you guys shown the Oscar shorts? Do you know?
I am not sure. It's great to be with you, Carter. I don't know how long it's been offered, but I would say because we are in the loop to get pitched, that has it been 8 years? Has it been 10 years? I don't really know. It's definitely one of the highlights of our annual film programming.
That is great. And where Museum of Fine Arts, downtown Houston, is that right?
It's actually in the Houston Museum District. We have about 20 different museums of all kinds, a number of art museums like the Museum of Fine Arts Houston and others on different topics. And it's actually a bit south of downtown. It's between downtown and the famous Texas Medical Center.
Fantastic. And do you show any other short film programs, or is the Oscar Shorts one of your primary programs?
It's definitely a highlight of the year, but we have found, I really think, because of showing the Oscar shorts, that there is an appetite among film lovers for seeing short films. And you always joke that maybe it's because of the short attention span.
Yeah.
There's always something different coming up. But since we began offering the Oscar shorts every year during the month leading up to the Academy Awards, we have added other shorts programs. There is from ShortsTV currently a package of women's shorts for Women's History Month called Five that we are offering in our streaming platform. And there's something called the Manhattan Short Film Festival that we have shown. That's a selection of shorts, some of which are actually shortlisted right now. And there are French shorts, there are family themed shorts, children's films. So it's definitely popular, and I really credit the Oscar shorts and the success we built as generating more interest.
Well, that is really fun. But what about this year? This is a totally different year for all of us. Are you all open as a theater? Have you been closed? And where will you be on April 2nd?
I know we literally closed on after March 13th, after Friday the 13th last year. The museum closed and our theater has been dark since then. But like so many venues around the world, we were able to quickly pivot thanks to distributors and others who provide films to establish a virtual cinema program. So since late March, we have been streaming films on various platforms, ticketed platforms, and offering a great selection of international cinema for art film lovers, for genre film lovers, for classic film lovers, and of course for lovers of short films too.
Oh, that's great. And so will you be on the 2nd of April, you will be releasing the Oscar shorts on your virtual cinema platform. Is that right?
Yes, we'll be following the virtual cinema platform offered to venues across the U.S. And we do look forward to being back in person in the theater for next year's edition. But I also want to say that we have strong memories of the Oscar shorts from last year being one of the last things that we were able to offer to film lovers. And we were packed, as we always are. We continued them for a week after the awards are announced, which we will also do this year with the streaming, because people, whether they missed them or they said, I picked the winners and now I want you to watch it with me. So I think that's a good dynamic.
That's fantastic. What kinds of things do you do around the shorts?
So we are a film program within a large art museum, and we show a year-round program of all kinds of films, art films and classics and different festivals and so forth. And people come to the shorts because they have an interest in cinema, because they have an interest in the subjects, or just because it's become quite a phenomenon. And we started out printing out the ballots, and it's a lot of pieces of paper. So you worry from an environmental standpoint. So now we have directed people to the ballot on the website, and they can just do it digitally, which I assume is what we're going to do as well this year. And encourage people to pick the winners and then find out if they were right. And this is really an interesting thing too, Carter. After the program ends, people tend to stay in their seats and speak with their friends about which were their favorites and why. It really stirs up a lot of conversation.
Well, I think, that is one of the most fun things about the Oscar shorts, because in an hour and a half, you can watch an entire Oscar category and have a view. Every one of the 5 nominees in each category are very different films. It's one from France and one from Mexico and one from Chicago, and one's a story of hope and the other is devastating, and another one is hilarious. So you kind of run the full gamut.
I completely agree that it just runs the gamut, and people have highs and lows, and really celebrate the art of filmmaking in so many different manifestations.
Marian, it would be great to know, do you have a favorite category?
What a tough question. And anyone who knows me is going to smile. I'm going to say documentary. We have seen such artful, poignant, significant documentary shorts from every year of the Oscar nominees, and I am sure I will learn things I didn't know about contemporary issues of things around the world, as well as historical subjects, and that's the one that I personally am most anticipating.
Fantastic. Well, we're thrilled to be partnering with you on the Oscar shorts again this year.
Our pleasure. Thank you.
So y'all Histonians listening, you know where to head for the Oscar shorts.
Absolutely. Marian and the Museum of Fine Arts have a great virtual cinema online page, but go there and find the Oscar shorts. Everybody's got to do it. Houston has always been one of our big markets, and we are totally psyched that they're going to be even bigger this year, because you can just go online and buy your tickets now.
Yep, lots to see. Thanks for joining us, and that's it for this week's episode. Tune in next time for more amazing insights with Oscar-nominated filmmakers.
And don't forget to subscribe and share this podcast without moderation.